Okay, on our test tutor this week, what we want to take a look at is the one that says number 1 beside it. There's number 1 beside it. Those shapes are in 3 different categories. They are separated by looking at the shape. Okay? So let me get you started in category 1. Category 1. I suggest that you draw the shapes so that you start looking at what they have in common. Because you are to describe what the polygons in each category have in common. You're to write a complete sentence. I am looking for words like parallel. You might want to write this down so that you know words that we're looking for. I am looking for words like right angle. I am looking for words like equal sides, quadrilaterals, triangles, acute angles, things like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm looking for geometric terminology. Does that make sense? You're staring at me like, what are you talking about, Mrs. Hammond? Maybe I had 3 heads or something.
That happened. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So I'm looking for those types of words to be used. Now, I suggest that you draw the shapes, because in drawing the shapes, you will probably start seeing some things they have in common. All right? So you look in that first category, if you draw them, maybe you'll see something they have in common. All right? Then you draw the second group, and maybe you'll start seeing things they have in common. Look these shapes up. Don't think you know what the shapes are. Look them up and make sure you're drawing them correctly. Okay? Then, in number 2, use words, numbers, or symbols to explain why some of the polygons are in more than one category. For instance, you might say that a square was in category 1 because of blah, blah, blah. It also was in category 2 because of blah, blah, blah. But you have to use words like these to describe it. Does that make sense? Okay? All right? Are you clear on that? Okay? So then you might pull out things like, the circle was in category 2 because of blah, blah, blah. The circle was in category 3 because of blah, blah, blah. You'll notice there was no circle there. Okay? But you have to use words describing it like these. And does that make sense? Not just because it fell in that category, or it looked pretty in there, or, you know, it had 5 letters or something like that. Geometrically, why did it fit in that group? Okay? So, here's where we're going to play a little example here. All right? So, I'm going to use students up here. I'm going to be very selective about my students. Okay. 1, 2, 3 of you up here. Okay? And besides mask, I don't care about why they're in here because of mask, because we're all just wearing masks. What would put these 3 students in this group? Describe to me what would put these 3 students in this group. They are all wearing black. Okay?
They're all wearing glasses.
They are all wearing glasses. Good.
They're all wearing them.
I said besides math. Okay, you missed that part at the beginning. They're all people. Mhm. Isaiah?
They all around the same height.
They're all, we could say they're all pretty much the same height. Okay, good. All very good observations. That's why I could put them all in the same group. All right, I want you two to sit down. I want you two to sit, no, go back to your seat. Sorry, I was not that clear. I want you two to join. Why did I put these two? Please don't erase my board, honey. Oh, why are these? Oh my, now she's trying to erase that board. Take a step away. Why are these three in a group? Why are these three in a group? Caleb. They're all girls. Any other reason we could put these three in a group? Well, okay. We probably want one more obvious than that. They all have black on. Okay. Anything else? What? But by looking at them, we wouldn't know that, but okay. They all have long hair. Good. Good. Okay. So do we understand we would need to be very descriptive about why they would fit together? Does that make sense? Okay, so I want you two to sit down. No, you stay. I said those two. You stay. Okay? I want you to come up, and I want you to come up. And I want you to go up.
They all have black.
Ooh, I'm really stretching there. They all have black on. That was real close.
Red. They all have black on their shoes.
They all have black on their shoes. Okay.
They all have sweatshirts.
They all have a sweatshirt of some type on. Yes. 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 I went for hoods. I was looking for that hood business when I picked them out. Yes. Thank you. You may have a seat. Now, she was up here all the time, right? So I could have asked the question, you know, something about her each time. You know, why was she the first group and the second group? Okay. Does that make sense? Why did she fit in with the first group and the second group? And we could have said, well, because she had such and such going on. Does that make sense? We'd have to be very descriptive about it, why she fit into more than one group. Thank you. Okay? All right. Do you understand that for what you're describing?
Yes.
You have to use, oh my. Was that Sapphire that
Yeah.
here and changed it all up and made me have to think now? Way to go, Sapphire. Made me think, huh? All right. So when you're doing your descriptions, you have to be very specific about what brought them all in that same group. Okay? It has to work for all of them, not just some of them. All right? And it can't be things like they all have sides. No. All right? Okay. Then 2B, use words, numbers, or symbols to explain in which category Jada should place a trapezoid if it were added to the table. Again, you have to be very specific. You have to use vocabulary. Are you limited to this vocabulary? No. No, these are just some that you could entertain using. Okay? I want all this page to be in complete sentences, not just a few dribbly words on the page. Complete sentences. All right, turn it over to the other side. All right. On the other side, I should see things circled, underlined, boxed, you know, those kinds of things to help you along. Okay? Now, one thing I would suggest is they have it in the order of, on the lines below, describe a method you could use to solve the problem. How many steps are there in your method? That's the question. And then down below, they say show on your work. I would suggest maybe you go do the work first and then go back and maybe describe it second. That's up to you. But most of you will probably have a better chance at it if you go do your work first and then describe it and tell me how many steps it took you. Okay? Will I know which one you did first or second? No. I'm just giving you a helpful hint. You probably want to do your work first and then describe it second. Okay? Questions on that? Anybody? All right. Let's go to our answers then to our math minute, please. Number one. How do we figure out 1/2 is a percent? How do we figure that out? Winnie, how do we figure that out? Same. And half of 100 is? So 50 out of 100 is? 50%. Excellent explanation. Number 2, what do we call the answer to a subtraction problem? And your difference was? There was a dollar sign there, so can you say it using that dollar sign? There you go. There you go. Number 3, you circled a fraction that was equivalent to 1/2. What did you circle? 3/6. How did you know to circle 3/6? Okay, so you drew a picture to show 6, all right? Did anybody solve it any other way? Any other way? All right, all right. Anybody solve it any other way? Okay, all good methods. Number 4, did anybody draw the picture and do 2/3 and then go the other direction and do 1/6 and see what was shaded in? One person did. Too bad I don't give you good examples to follow, folks. Did anybody get 2/18 for an answer? Did anybody reduce it to 1/9? Anybody reduce it to 1/9? Okay. Number 5, when you subtracted, what did you get? What did you get? 3 1/3. Number 6, what was your product? Logan. Okay. Number 7, what was your sum? Aiden. Good, 10 and 596 thousandths. Number 8, when you followed that pattern, what came next in the sequence? Charles?
4 squares and then a circle at the end.
Perfect. And number 9, how do you figure out how many months are in 3 years? Perfect. And number 10, what's the least common multiple of 3 and 6?
6 and 12.
The least common multiple, there can only be one that's the smallest. 6 is the smallest. And you said 6 and 12, and you went with 12?
I have both of them, so that's all right.
But what's the least?
6.
6. There you go. Please quickly get that recorded.
I had
get into our braining camp where we can look at our algebra tiles again, please. Last week we worked on things like this where we had 3 1/3 minus 1 2/3. And we found that we couldn't take 2/3 away from 1/3, so we did what, Zane? Okay, so we exchanged a whole amount for 3/3. That gave us 2 3/3 plus the 1/3 we already had, which now gives us 2 4/3. And we're getting rid of that 1 2/3. And from there, we drug. From there, we drug 2/3 away. We drug 1 whole amount away. And we were left with 1 2/3. And we did our subtraction. 4/3 minus 2/3 was 2/3. 2 minus 1 was 1, and we still got our 1 2/3. Do you remember doing that last week? Okay. Marcus, you don't remember any of that?
We were doing it for like an hour straight.
Marcus, you really don't remember any of that?
Wow. How do you not remember that?
All right. Today, we're going to do something very similar, only what is different now? Karen?
There is a different. There is like
Yeah, our denominators are not the same. So now we need to find common denominators. Okay? So, what's the least common denominator if we're using a 3 and a 4? Logan? 12. So we want to change this to 12. We want to change this to 12. Do I have enough 12s to take away?
yeah. No.
I can take 6 12s away from 4 12s?
No. Oh, no.
So now I still need to bring 1 over and exchange it for 12s, right?
That's a lot of 12.
And now I can do my subtraction, right? I can subtract my whole number. And I am left with how many 12s? And how many whole numbers? How many 12s? How many whole numbers? Is my fraction in lowest terms?
No.
No, I could make it into 6, couldn't I?
No.
Right? How many 6? 5, 6. So it'll be 1 and 5, 6. Okay? All right? That make sense? Okay, get out a piece of paper. We're going to do some practice problems with it.
I know.
Yes. You what? See if there's any back there in that desk. 6 and 1/5 minus 4 and 2/3. Any in there? Here's one. Yes. Yeah. Not yet. Not yet. What? What? What's wrong first? Denominators aren't the same. We don't know we need to borrow unless our denominators are the same, and then we look at our numerators. Does that make sense? So, what are the multiples of 5 and 3? Let's go.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Multiples of 3?
3, 12, 9, 12, 15.
Do we have one in common?
Yeah.
5 times what gives us 15?
3.
So 1 times 3 gives us, you two, push your desk back so that he can see, please. I've pushed those desks back many days. So now my unit's number is 6 and 3/15. Two-thirds, we need to make 15. 3 times what gives us 15? 2 times 5 gives us what? So my new mixed number is 4 and 10, 15. Can I take 10/15ths away from 3/15ths?
No.
I borrow. I trade my one whole amount in for what?
1 whole.
1 whole gets divided into how many fraction pieces? Logan? How many fraction pieces did I already have there?
3.
3. What is my new mixed number? My new mixed number?
18.
What's my new mixed number that I'm gonna be working with?
5 and 15.
There you go. Any question on how I got any of those numbers? When I subtract 18/15 minus 10/15, what does that give me? When I subtract 5 minus 4, what does that give me?
1.
Is 8/15 in lowest terms?
Yes.
There's my final answer. Is this a whole lot different than anything we've been doing?
No.
No. You first need to make sure your denominators are the same. You only have to borrow if we can't take this amount away from that. It's not a given that you have to borrow. Does everybody understand that? Okay? Let's try this one. $17 1/3 minus 6 3/4. Santiago. Okay. Multiples of 3.
3, 6, 9, 12, 15.
Multiples of 4.
4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
Do we have one that's in common yet? Charles?
12.
How do we change 1/3 over to 12ths? How do we change 1/3 over to 12ths? Multiply it by?
4. And times
Multiply?
1 times 4 also, so we get 4.
How do we change 4ths over to 12ths? How do we change 4ths over to 12ths? Emmeline? By what? We multiplied that by 3. Why would we multiply the 3 by 4? And that gives us?
9.
Somebody tell me what we need to do next. Isaiah, get with the program here. Show.
We subtract 17 into 16 to add 12 twelfths plus 4 twelfths and that's 16 twelfths.
Why did we have to borrow, Charles?
Because there wasn't like enough to subtract 9 from 4.
Good, good. What is my new mixed number? My new mixed number, Marcus.
16 and 16, right?
Yes. What am I subtracting from 16 and 16/12? Sophia?
6 and 9 12.
Excellent. Go ahead and do that subtraction to see what you come up with. Is that in lowest terms?
Yes.
Are we done?
Wait, no. Wait, yes.
Wait, yes. Wait, no. Are we done?
Yes. Yes.
We are done. We are done. What questions do you have for me? Are you good? Are you good with it?
Yeah.
Okay, the steps are just like what we've been doing. We're just combining them all together. Will you always have to borrow? No, you will not. Okay? Let's take a look at our booklet, page 393. 393. on 393, you're doing estimate first and then the actual in 2 through 6. Remember, by doing an estimate, you're looking at whether the amount is closer to like 0, 1/2, or 1. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. Or it could be like 1, 1.5, or 2. Does that make sense? What it's closest to? Yes?
What page?
Okay. Are you clear on what estimating is? Okay. So on 393, you're doing 2 through 6 only. 2 through 6 only. Okay. Show your work neatly on lined paper. It is due on Thursday. On Thursday.
I don't even know.
Okay. I want to talk to you about the assessment topics. I will list them in Google Classroom, so you don't need to worry about writing them down. You can just refer to that. Add, subtract fractions. We've been working on that for a long, long time. Estimating fractions. Okay. Ordering fractions from least to greatest. Multiplying and dividing decimals. We've been practicing that on Math Minute a lot. Place value, for crying out loud. We talk about that a lot. Add and subtract mixed numbers. We've been practicing that for several days. What questions do you have? Okay. I would like at least one problem done on that test tutor page and turned in, and then I would like you working on the assignment. Those of you who did not have your 3 Piddly problems done at all from Friday have lunch detention. If all you need to do is corrections for me, that's a whole nother, just do corrections for me. Does that make sense?
I need to do corrections.
What?
You mean you do corrections?
Come see me. I don't know what you're talking about. Come see me. Talking about. Am I correct? That was your assignment on Friday. Did you do it? Okay. You didn't do what you were supposed to do on Friday. You didn't take it home before we do what we did. Is that correct? You did what you were supposed to do on Friday. The rest of these people did their work and brought it to you today. And they were doing corrections on what they brought today. You want to listen to all that? I didn't get that. Thank you. I don't care.
It's so hard to draw. It's so ugly. Yes. No, not. I do.
Leland, can I see you, please?
Boy. Nobody here wants to read.
Box it up.
That one. For me, it does. The rest of your hair, like, this is smooth, and then there's like, the rest of your hair is good. And the back, and the rest of your hair, so the rest of your, let me show you, let me show you. The rest of your hair, like that, the bump. Okay, yeah, please help. I can't see it, that's why. What? What's your call?